first-class citizens with second-class purchasing power. Doctors of chiropractic are first-class citizens, but sometimes with second-class purchasing power. And this, my friends, is not a healthy situation for us as individuals or as a profession. We feel strongly that improved human relationship through chiropractic office procedure, practice building, and personality development are very definite solutions to this problem. The fact that the medical profession, embracing the opposing theory of disease as compared to the chiropractic nerve interference propositions, enjoys more of the finer things of life, materially we mean, is not in keeping with the total amount of true service delivered in relieving pain, restoring health, and prolonging life, as is true in the case of chiropractic service. It reminds me of the television hero who always finds a parking place in front of the bank, the supermarket, and the post office. It just must be rigged. And it is rigged. It's rigged because the chiropractor often does not own the complete concept of the true value of his service delivered with his hands on patients' backs. You mean to like myself better, Jim, so I can love my neighbor like I love myself? Well, I don't mean to be like the Hollywood actor who was asked to identify himself while testifying in a case. I am the world's greatest actor, he told the court. One of his friends chided him the next day. Don't you think that the boost you gave yourself was a little too thick? The actor replied, well, I usually avoid self-praise, but this time they had me under oath. No, I don't mean to love myself like that. But I do mean, however, that chiropractors should have more regard for the tool of service with which they have been provided. We should realize that we will be judged initially to a great degree and under several prevailing circumstances by what our status in life in our community really is, socially, religiously, and definitely financially. It might sadden some, but the state of our individual financial surroundings, the type of office or clinic that we operate, the home we live in, the car we drive, the clothes that we and our family wears, all have a bearing on our total impression upon the community. The word gets around. Just yesterday I read in Medical Economics a definite statement that said this very same thing. Two classmates from a chiropractic college recently met after many years. One had become tremendously successful, while the other had groped along from month to month and year to year. The less successful one said to his former classmate, John, I'm sure glad to find you as you are. Your success and wealth hasn't changed you at all. Replied the more successful one, well, it has changed me in one regard. I'm now eccentric, whereas in college, you remember, I was impolite. And I'm now delightfully witty, where I used to be rude. With second-class purchasing power, we fail to do justice to ourselves, to our families, and to sick people. For success breeds success, and people go where people go, because people go where people go. And people often get the doctor whose surroundings prove he has had some kind of beneficial service for others, else he would not be in the elite class. You might say, well, is this because we do surround ourselves with status symbols of success, and people are so brainwashed by medicine that we have to be ultra superior to attract their attention? Or is it because we do not have a high enough concept of our service of chiropractic? Well, you know, Thoreau said, public opinion is a weak tyrant compared with our own private opinions. What a man thinks of himself, that it is which indicates his fate. Yes, it's both the brainwashed mind so prevalent in our communities and our weakened concept of the value of chiropractic services rendered when we adjust a human spine. This is often true of a pioneering movement. In the early days, a big Indian named Big Eagle was commissioned to preach to his tribe. A white man encountered Big Eagle once and asked him what he did for a living. He said, "Me preach." And then the white man asked, "How much do you make?" $10 a year was the reply. "Poor pay," the white man commented. "Me poor preacher," said the Big Eagle. Well, what kind of concept do you hold regarding your service to the citizens of your community? You are a first-class citizen, brown baggers, but do you have a first-class purchasing power? It is said that we Texans have a high regard for Texas. When we vacationed in Old Mexico last winter, I was asked if I had smallpox vaccination, and I said, "No, I'm from Texas. I've had a big pox vaccination." By some of our low concepts of our services, we help medicine defeat chiropractic. It's just like the old alumnus who was bragging to the present quarterback about how he once helped Harvard beat Yale some years back. "Is that so?" said the football player. "Which team did you play for?" So raise your concepts of your service, my colleagues, and realize it's worth more by comparison. Don't let the negative few overrule the positive many successes, for this reduces your service to the 80% that do get completely well or greatly improved under your care. Be the top-notch success that your chiropractic tools should provide for you. Your children deserve it too. The teacher asked the child, "The sentence, 'My father had money,' is in the past tense. Now, Jack, what tense would you be speaking in if you said, 'My father has money'?" Said the boy, "Pretense." Don't let this happen to you. Become a first-class citizen with first-class purchasing power by increasing your faith, your confidence, and your belief in chiropractic services. In most communities, people are still sick because they have not seen enough outward evidence of success of the local chiropractors to try chiropractic. Practice building at Christmas time. The 16th chapter of Mark, the 15th verse says, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Whatever makes men good Christians makes them good citizens. Whatever makes good citizens makes good chiropractors. Whatever makes good chiropractors makes for good practice building. One of the biggest stumbling blocks to acceptance of practice building as a link of study necessary to the continuous health of all chiropractic practices is the delusion that practice building and office procedure embraces procedures that are dishonest or insincere. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Proper practice building and office procedure makes simple the complexities of human nature and thus reduces persuasion to planned explanation. The net result of handling each and every patient, each and every day, by planned explanation is increased referrals, increased satisfaction, increased percentage of recoveries, and increased cooperation. This naturally brings increased income. This is the Christian way to preach the gospel of chiropractic by utilizing the best known methods of handling people, for every patient must be convinced of chiropractic efficacy before they become really good chiropractic patients and eventually good boosters. I cannot think of any professional service that is as closely allied with Christianity as is chiropractic. The simple part of chiropractic of laying on of the hands should convince the most doubtful that there is a definite alliance to both these revelations from God to man. We may conclude from this close relationship that chiropractic and Christianity may not disappear together, but they will surely survive together. There is a difference in Christianity and philosophy. Philosophy makes us wiser. Christianity makes us better. The combination of the religion of Christianity and the philosophy of chiropractic makes a solid foundation for proper practice building and office procedure. Some of us have had to learn this the hard way. The philosophy of success concept teaches us that we must have an image in our minds of ourselves as we want to be. The most realistic self-image of all is to conceive of yourself as made in the image and likeness of God. You cannot sincerely hold this conviction without simultaneously experiencing a profound new sense of strength and power to enable you to better serve suffering humanity. From my association with thousands of chiropractors, their wives and staffs, including almost every chiropractic leader we've ever heard or read about, I'm convinced we'll have unity in our ranks tomorrow only if we practice basic Christian principles today. The first Christians, like the first chiropractors, lived in times as difficult as our own. But they did not say, "See what the world is coming to." They said instead, "See what has come to the world." We all want the fruits from the tree of Christianity, just as we want the profits from the tree of complete chiropractic success. The trouble is, we often don't fertilize and cultivate the right roots. The roots of practice building make up a major part that feeds the trunk of consistent success. Millions of people, many right in the towns where you are hearing these words, have never once seen or been on an adjusting table. Yet, chiropractic, like Christianity, has not failed. It just never has been tried. Our proper procedure in handling our fellow citizens, which results in improved practices and stimulation of referrals, is indeed our Christian duty. Paul the Apostle, you might remember, in his second epistle to Timothy says, "I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of God which is in thee by the putting on of my hands. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Christianity, like chiropractic, rightly understood, is a part of the science of love. Proper chiropractic gospel preaching is a science itself. And if definite psychological and Christian laws are obeyed and followed, more and more people will become aware of the benefits of the service you have to offer in your community. Let everyone sweep in front of his own door, and the whole world will be clean. Isn't it a startling thing to realize that if there were only 12 believing Christians, or we might say 12 believing chiropractors, in the whole world, and each one in turn educated another one each year of his life, that it would take less than the lifetime of Jesus, 33 years, to Christianize or chiropractize nearly every person on the face of the earth? Remember, brown baggers, that God divided man into men so that they might help each other. Proper practice-building spirit at Christmas time and at all other times should awaken that smoldering dynamic within each of us that gives us more complete Christian love, and thereby help us to loosen our tongue to say the right words at the right time with proper office procedure and practice-building methods, and to preach the gospel of chiropractic like Christianity so that we might help each other.